Disclaimer. This podcast is AI-powered and all data and sources are from podwires.com. They have been fact-checked and vetted by a human editor.
From the Podwires newsroom at podwires.com.
All right, so get this. We're really diving deep today. AI and podcasting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, specifically Google's Notebook LM.
Okay.
You heard about this?
I have, yeah. It's got that new audio overviews feature.
It's wild. It's like you feed it any document.
Literally anything.
Like seriously, anything. Research papers, meeting notes.
Even like creative writing.
And it turns it into, get this, a podcast.
Like a full-on discussion.
With AI hosts.
Which is mind-blowing when you think about it.
I know, right? It's like having, it's like a Cliff Notes, but like audio.
Yeah, for any topic you can imagine.
And the thing is, this wasn't like some big Google project, right?
Yeah.
This was like one of those, what do they call them?
Oh, the 20% project.
Yeah, those things are legendary.
Like from Google Labs, right?
Yeah, like where they just let their people experiment.
Yeah, in their spare time and stuff.
And it blew up.
It's huge now.
Like over 60,000 users on their Discord.
Shows you like the demand for something like this.
For sure.
Wow.
So, okay, how does it work though?
Well, from what I understand, they're using this Gemini Pro AI model to make the conversation
Between the AI hosts.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just spitting out text, you know?
Right.
It's designed to like understand context and tone.
Yeah.
Even tries to do humor, which
is a high bar.
Yeah, for AI, totally.
I read this really interesting piece by Dr. Varshita Shur.
Okay, yeah.
It was in towards data science. And she actually used Notebook LM to turn one of her own articles into a podcast.
Wow, how meta.
Right. And it was about the challenges of, using AI.
Oh, interesting. So like full circle.
Totally. And she was saying how it took these really technical concepts and made them like relatable.
That's cool though, making it accessible.
Right. Like she said, it used analogies to like mobile games.
Really?
To explain like AI token costs. Wild, right?
That's pretty creative, I have to say.
I know. It's both impressive and a little unnerving, honestly. Yeah. But the realism is what makes it, work.
For sure.
But there's two sides to every coin, as they say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And one thing that came up a lot was this idea of like, I think Listen Note said it best.
What was it?
They called it flooding the podcast world with junk.
Oh, yeah, that is a concern for sure.
Because if anyone could just, churn out these AI podcasts.
It could become overwhelming, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then how do you find the good stuff?
Like finding a needle in a haystack, but the haystack is just noise.
Totally. It's like, imagine you're a podcaster.
You pour your heart into it, yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to, find your audience.
Right.
But it's just AI stuff everywhere.
It's tough because it raises this question of like responsibility too. Like how do we make sure this technology is used for good?
Not just like spamming everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a powerful tool.
Powerful's the word. It could be amazing. Like imagine if experts could easily share their knowledge,
Oh yeah, make it accessible.
Right. That's a future I can get behind.
Me too, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all about finding that balance, the benefits and the risks, which is kind of what we're doing right now.
Exactly. We're figuring it out together. Okay, so the good stuff.
Hit me with it.
Accessibility. That's huge, right?
Absolutely. Think about it. Any information turned into something you can like listen to on the go.
On your commute.
While you're at the gym.
Folding laundry.
Game changer.
Especially for education. Can you imagine?
Oh, totally. Students, researchers, anyone who has to absorb a ton of info.
You speed things up.
Big time.
But there are drawbacks. We got to be real.
Lay it on me.
The AI voices. Sometimes they're a bit much.
Too enthusiastic.
Yeah, like they're reading from a script.
A little robotic, maybe.
Yes. And some people even said the AI hosts were too, like, agreeable.
Like they just agree with each other all the time.
Yeah, and they finish each other's sentences.
It makes sense, though, in a way.
Does it?
Well, they're programmed to, keep the conversation going.
True. But still, it's something to work on.
Definitely. And then there's the whole hallucinations thing. Have you heard about this?
Hallucinations? That sounds kind of fun.
It's not as fun as it sounds. Basically, it's when the AI presents something as true.
Okay.
But it's totally made up.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Like, it's confident, but it's just wrong.
Oh. That's not good. Especially if you're relying on this stuff for, like, accurate information.
Exactly. It's like you need to be careful, double check things, especially with AI.
Always verify.
Yeah.
Good advice. And Dr. Scher, the one who turned her article into a podcast, she ran into that too. She was saying that, like, the quality of what you get out of this tool, it depends on what you put into it.
Garbage in, garbage out. Really
exactly. You can't just expect amazingness if you're feeding it,
Nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's a tool then, not a replacement for, like, actual human creativity.
100%.
Yeah.
It was like talking to you. Oh, one other thing.
Shoot.
It's kind of a small thing, but it really bugs me when I hear it.
What's that?
The endings. They're so abrupt.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like they just stop.
Like they ran out of things to say or hit a wall.
Or like someone just hung up the phone on you mid-sentence.
It's jarring.
The worst. It makes sense, though.
Does it?
Well, think about it. It's still pretty early days for this tech, right? So they're figuring out how to make a whole conversation flow naturally.
Yeah. I guess endings are hard, even for AI.
Right.
But you know what's really interesting?
What's that?
Google's not the only one doing this whole AI audio thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of other companies jumping in now. It's getting kind of wild out there.
Okay, now you have to tell me more. What else is going on?
Oh, we've got a whole list. Buckle up, because things are about to get really interesting. Okay, so spill the tea. What other AI audio stuff is out there?
Well, one thing that really caught my eye was this partnership with Wondery.
Wondery, the podcast network.
Yeah, they're teaming up with this podcast called The Best One Yet.
I've heard of them.
They're going to co-produce a new show called The Best Idea Yet.
Catchy.
Right, and it's going to, like, dive into the stories behind, like, how products get made.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. It's
Yeah.
like they're using the AI, but also, still keeping that human element.
Totally. Like, they're not just handing the reins over completely to the AI.
Yeah, it's a collaboration, which I think is smart because it shows, that AI is, like, becoming more mainstream, even in creative fields.
Exactly. It's not just a gimmick anymore. And it's not just for entertainment either.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we were looking at Cadence Bank. You know them.
Sure, yeah.
They're using podcasts to, like, explore the future of business.
Smart move. AI is definitely shaking things up there.
Right. They have a whole season about it. In Good Companies, it's called.
Okay, got to check that out. It makes sense, though. Like, as AI becomes more, a part of everything.
Businesses are going to need to educate people about it.
Exactly. Might as well go where the people are. And they're listening to podcasts.
Precisely. And, speaking of finding your audience, there's this other podcast, Heal Your Gut, Save Your Brain.
Okay. What's that one about? Gut health.
Exactly. Which I know you're interested in.
Don't get me started.
But it's a good example of, taking a niche topic and then making it more accessible through audio.
It's a whole world out there.
It really is. And it's not just about the topics anymore either. Like, we found out about Acast.
Acast, yeah. Big podcast company.
Huge. And they're partnering with Initium Media to expand into Chinese-speaking markets.
Wow, AI going global. That's huge.
Right. And with translation tools getting better all the time.
It's going to be fascinating to see how that changes things, spreading ideas.
Breaking down barriers.
I'm here for it. But we can't forget about the business side of things. Like we saw this thing about Claritas, the data company.
Yeah, I saw that. They're teaming up with AudioStack, right?
So the AI audio production company. They're going to revolutionize audio marketing, they say.
Interesting. It's like Claritas has all the data on what people like.
Right.
And AudioStack can make the audio.
Match made in heaven. Maybe.
Right.
AI playing matchmaker for like brands and consumers.
Yeah.
I kind of love it. Speaking of cool tech, did you see what Wondercraft's doing?
Wondercraft? Oh, yeah, with their director mode thing.
It's insane.
I know, right? You can give the AI voice, like, specific instructions.
So it's not just, like, reading text anymore.
It's way beyond that. You can tell it, have them do an accent.
Seriously.
Yeah. Or, like, convey a specific emotion.
It's like having a whole cast of AI voice actors.
Exactly. And they're using some really cutting-edge AI, too.
This is getting wild. It's like every day there's something new. But okay, we've covered a lot. AI podcasts, AI voice actors. It's clear that AI is changing the audio game.
Big time. And we're just getting started.
Exactly. So we have to ask the tough questions now.
Hit me.
What does this mean for podcasting?
Right.
Like, is this a good thing?
Yeah.
A bad thing?
Right. Is AI going to, like, take over completely? Or will it just be a tool?
Or both?
Probably both. It's never that simple, is it?
Never. But that's what makes it interesting. Okay, so What are the good things that could come out of this whole AI audio thing?
Well, it has the potential to be really democratizing.
How so?
Think about it. Anyone could create a podcast, even if they don't have like the technical skills
Yay.
or the equipment.
A good point.
Right. And imagine like listening to your favorite book.
Yeah.
But it's narrated by an AI that sounds exactly like, I don't know, Tom Hanks.
Okay, now that I would listen to it. But I mean, come on, there's got to be downsides too.
Oh, absolutely. For starters, like, how do we make sure it's used responsibly?
Right. Like we were saying before about the spam, the misinformation.
Exactly. And then there's the authenticity thing. Like, as AI voices get better.
It's going to be harder to tell what's real.
Totally. How do you know if you're listening to, like, a real person?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, like, will people even care if the AI is good enough?
Right. It's a conundrum for sure.
Yeah, it really makes you think. With all this AI-generated audio, are we going to, like, lose something?
What do you mean?
Like that human element, real people sharing real stories?
Yeah.
Will that even matter anymore?
I see what you're getting at. Will the AI be so good, so efficient, that we forget about that human connection?
Exactly. Like, will we even be able to tell the difference?
It's a good question. Because on the one hand, you have this incredible technology that can create these, like, incredibly realistic audio experiences.
Right.
But then there's something to be said for, that raw authenticity.
Totally. Like, the AI might be able to string together the perfect sentence, but can it really capture, like, the emotion behind it?
Exactly. The nuance, the lived experience, those are things that I think are uniquely human.
And those imperfections, too. The ums, the pauses, the little stumbles, they're real.
And they draw you in a way. They remind you that there's a real person on the other side of that microphone.
It's like the AI might be technically perfect, but it's those imperfections that make us connect with a story, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's like that saying, art imitates life. And part of life is, being a little messy sometimes.
100%. And maybe, just maybe, this whole AI thing will push us to be even more human in our creativity.
Interesting thought. Like it's a challenge almost to step up our game, be more present, more authentic.
Right. Because ultimately, storytelling is about connection. It's about reminding each other that we're not alone.
And that's something that I don't think will ever go out of style.
Well said. We covered some serious ground today. Notebook LM, AI voice actors.
It's a brave new world out there.
That's for sure. And it's changing so fast. But hey, that's what makes it so exciting to talk about.
Absolutely. And who knows what's next?
Right. That's the fun part. But for now, we got to wrap things up.
Always more to explore.
Isn't there always? So, to our amazing listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
This episode is brought to you by Podwires Marketplace, the best platform for finding top podcast service providers and podcast producers. We've selected the best, and we're ready to make your project ideas a reality, no matter the size. We will achieve your business goals together. Find podcast experts who understand your market and will help you grow your business. Learn more right now on the homepage, https://marketplace.podwires.com.